Hi, welcome to In the Studio with Kate. It's week 34, and today I've got a couple things to talk about. One, I wanted to put a shout out to Dirty Footprint Studios' new program, 21 Secrets Summer. I think she's calling it summer something, but there's two parts. And one is based on using stuff in watercolor stuff, and the other thing is all on nature, and you can sign up for both of them. And they're short little things, like you get one a day, and then the videos are short, everything's short, so you can actually keep up with your creative practice during the summer. And if you sign up now, I think the early bird ends today, but if you sign up, you get Connie's class right away. And so I was excited about that because the program doesn't start till July. So Connie's program on pods. Well, I love pods. Pods are so cool. I mean, really. My friend Cynthia sent me these pods, these magnolia pods that I haven't really, it's got some fluff on it. I hadn't really ever done anything with. And so I used these last night, and I did the exercise for Connie's class, which involves pods, of course, paint, art graph, charcoal. I used charcoal. She didn't use charcoal, I don't think, but just all sorts of, and in grayscale. So these are the pods I did. Okay. And although they don't really look anything like the magnolia pods, hardly at all, it's just my interpretation. So I had fun with it. It's kind of a fun class, so I'm going to do some more. Definitely do some more pods. I have a set of, I'm trying to think if they're handy. Let me grab them. I have this milkweed pod, plant, whatever you want to call it. I still have some of the seeds coming out of that one and the leaves. And I drew this last year, but it's going to be fun to do it in this technique. So that's kind of a fun one. I don't have that many pods, but I really do love them. I've got this little guy that I think I'm going to try doing sometime this summer. I don't know if the light's too bright for you to see those or not, but I've got that one to play with. And then I've got this little one that's stuck up here, which is the whole plant in seed. And so that's kind of, maybe if I turn this light a little bit, where you'll be able to see that a little bit better. It's too bright from my view. But anyways, you can find pods everywhere. It's kind of fun. So I wanted to share how much fun that class was. How the summer program is going to be really fun to do. It's very different. So check out Connie's website, dirtyfootprintstudio.com, I believe. But I'll put the link down there in the video as well. The other thing that I did this last week was I did some eco dyeing on paper. Sort of eco dyeing, because once you add dye in, I don't know if it's really considered eco dyeing anymore, but you use plant material. So I took watercolor paper and I layered it. I layered plants in between the papers, and then I made a bundle. Okay, and then I actually threw it in a pot. I have a turkey roaster that I used to do dyeing when I had a dyeing business going. And I used that, and I bundled all the papers in 2 pieces of wood, placed them up, put them in that pot with a cup of vinegar, got that hot, put the bundle in, threw a little dye on the outsides, and cooked it for an hour and a half. And out came my beautiful paper, so I wanted to share those. You can see, hopefully, the plants. And this was the green dye. And they're all just a little bit different. Some of them you can see images coming out of. Let's see. Some of them, the plants show up more yellow looking. Let's see, what does this one look like? That one's kind of subtle. Oh, that's because this is the I had a couple pages I had put gesso on, and I think this is Bristol, actually Bristol paper. Didn't know if they would die, but they still died. It's just more subtle what you get from them. But the patterns are really cool. And there was a little bit of purple dye I had hanging around, so I tossed that in. So a couple of these pages have some purple in them. There's this page. Sometimes they're different looking depending on if you open them up or not. There's always some cool thing going on in the middle, I think. And I didn't really have any very interesting looking plants. I mean, it's just like willow leaves, leaves from my lilac. This one's got a cool image in the middle. This was the outside page, so it didn't have any leaves on it, I don't think. It looks really different, the outside of the bundle. But I think it still looks cool. There's leaves again, and then inside, let's see, I got a couple more pages. I had 8 pages in there, and they're all fun to look at. I mean, look at the image in the middle of that one. That was really cool. I can see bringing that out. Lots of cool stuff. I was very, very excited the way it turned out. It was very easy to do. And let's see, what's this look like? And in the center, you really can see a face. Looks like an animal in the middle, which looks really cool, I think. And then here's another page that was gesso, and so the colors are quite subtle in the center. But I like the purple thrown in there as well. And then this one, the gesso stuck to each other, so I got some texture now that I didn't have before. But these are just the background pages for a journal. It's kind of cool to actually do this process. I'll include the link to the video where I learned it at. There's lots of videos on YouTube. You just search on eco dyeing, but I will include the actual one that I did use. The other thing that I was going to talk about is creative cycles. If you're aware of throughout the year, there's going to be times when your creativity is just going gangbusters. And then there'll be times when it's just not doing much of anything and you struggle to actually get to your studio or actually produce anything. And I've known about this for a while. I haven't really tracked it in my own work. But recently I discovered that always in the spring, early summer is the time I want to weave, the time I want to do work with fibers or spin more, or and I always thought it was strange because a lot of times people use the winter to weave because they want to spend their time outdoors. And I thought, so that's good. So I thought it was kind of different. I know one year I have a loom that's on wheels, and I actually push it outside on the porch so I could weave outside. So I've done that, but I just thought it was kind of weird that that's when I really wanted to do that part of my creativity. And then it just dawned on me that, oh, that's part of my cycle. That's the time when fiber festivals start happening. So you go to these things and you meet other fiber artists and you see the projects they've been working on, or you see new yarns or new fleeces. And it's just like this big influx of new inspiration. So of course, that's the time of the year that I would really be gung-ho for weaving and knitting and creating, is right after that inspiration. So, I don't know if I went to an art retreat in the middle of the summer, if that would infuse that part of it or not. But so I'm just really I think really making note of when I feel stuck in the art part of my creativity, and when I feel stuck in the fiber part, you know, and if you're just doing one part, it's a little bit easier. But for me, I just do so many different things. But I think it's really interesting, because then you don't beat yourself up so much. So I'm like, I'm stuck, I can't do anything. Well, maybe it's just a down period, or maybe it's a period where you're just going to be gathering new information. You're in that gathering stage. There's all sorts of different things that could go into times when you're not as creative as you want to be. So I'm just going to leave you with that note. Think about that and see how it manifests in your own creative process. And till next time, I hope you're creating wonderful things in your studio. And if you are, I'd love to hear about them. Leave me a comment, talk to me on social media, any way that's most convenient for you. So until next week, let's make lots of art.